Hello, my name is Chillin' Boy Washington. Thank you for coming to Austin Action Fest 2019. It's our third year. And I am here with some very creative individuals. And your name, please.
Kyle. Ricky.
Okay. My arms like.
Allison.
Joey.
And who do you represent?
We're part of Door Monster YouTube channel.
And how did Door Monster come about?
He's gonna be answering most of the questions.
It started with mostly just me and my high school friends making stuff in our spare time after school, and eventually we decided to try doing it full time, making a video every single week. And at this point we've been doing that for about 6 years, and it's kind of just grown over time. We've been able to slowly actually form a company around it and start making a living and be able to pay some more of our crew members and actually start expanding it into something more of a studio. Yeah.
Stupid question. Are you having fun with it?
Yeah, we're having a great time. We're all living pretty close to each other now. We're getting closer and closer to actually having it as a film studio instead of just sort of a hobby where I have all my friends come in and get really sweaty and injured for free.
Yeah.
Our neighborhood will soon just be a film lot. I live right next door to them, and other people live just literally the same neighborhood. You're next.
No, I don't think I can go to San Antonio.
It's like Austin, but cheaper in every possible way.
I believe that.
Let me see that microphone. No. Really? No. Okay, so what is the project that you're working on right now?
Right at the moment, we're working on a film, a sequel to one that we made a few years ago that I actually made as the final project to being in film school. Most people did something somewhat reasonable and picked out a few actors and filmed about a 10-minute short in one room. For some reason, I decided to make a superhero feature-length film with about 40 actors in it. Managed to finish it somehow, and the people on our YouTube channel have enjoyed it over the years and wanted us to make another one, so we were able to raise about $30,000 for a sequel, and we're in pre-production for that right now.
It's a bit of a cult.
Can I add that in the process of sitting on his bed and pitching the script to us, his friends, he had already started storyboarding 3 sequels already. So this was a long time coming, and our fans are just crazy enough to want us to make this.
As long as you have my ass crying like I didn't do in Endgame, you're good.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Endgame.
No.
Yeah.
Dude,
No.
the Thundercat moment, come on. No, I'll see it happen. So, no, that's pretty good. So, what keeps you going? How do you make all these episodes? How do you keep on going with this content?
It's a deep question.
Coffee. Tea.
Yeah, lots of. Well, honestly, the thing that makes the most difference is that I get to do it with the people I've been friends with for years. It really just feels like us hanging out most of the time. It started very much as just us having fun and making what we wanted to make, and we were able to find a way to do that without having to follow any specific guidelines or anything. And it's stayed that way over the years, even as it's changed and even as things are currently changing. It's still the same group of people. We still have the same kind of priorities of not having to, I guess, abide by a whole lot of industry rules because we get to just do it online by ourselves, and people will still watch it, and most of our funding comes from people just donating because they like what we make. So there's a whole lot of freedom in it, so yeah, it's made it honestly really a whole lot easier to be able to keep making at least something, even if it's not exactly the same kind of content that we made when we first started.
Yeah, it has to evolve.
Yeah.
Definitely has to evolve. So basically, you're still here because you're chilling with your homies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, the only thing I see coming up is when people start falling in love and having babies, life will get at you, whether we like it or not. Anyway, I say that. Okay, so as far as who is your audience? That might be a silly question, but
Oh,
I'm old. I'm not seeing this stuff.
I will answer that.
Go ahead.
So our audience is men, ages 16 to like 25.
They're all over 13, so Kappa, stay off us.
Okay. I mean, the kind of videos that we make are video games, movies, D&D, Civ video games like that. You know, just sort of popular video games and stuff. Basically, anything that we enjoy doing in our free time, we turn it into something that we think other people would enjoy, and we just. Kyle is he's a very good writer, and one of the primary elements of what the way the channel works is really contingent on the way that he writes. It's Kyle's style. It's got its own name, but he made a brand for himself just in his the way he thinks about things, and that's why our audience sort of mirrors him. I think a little bit in a certain way. Just they see themselves in the stuff that he writes. So I think. That's so it's not a lot of women, but please watch us. We do great stuff.
Well, the only thing I was going to add to that, the other thing that I know Kyle does really good at is deadlines. He gives himself deadlines. He's like, this video has to come out this day. And for me, I know a lot of people were just like, hey, you know what? I didn't have enough time to do it. I'll wait till next week. And he makes sure he's up all night. It's going to come out that day. And I know that consistent, deadlines is important, especially with this industry, because if you're not relevant and staying relevant, and people will just forget about you. So I know that's one thing that Kyle did really good at was keep pumping out content. Hey, maybe this video didn't sell so well this time, but man, the next one, over the moon, and it's that great roller coaster.
So to bounce back what you just said, men. Okay, I got you.
That's the theme song of my life.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. My voice is too deep for that.
Oh, I'm sure Ricky's got you.
Ooh.
Sorry, that was
Thanks. That's why she invited me.
Just put you on the spot.
Yeah, I know, she did.
Okay, so what is your next thing?
After this film is over, we have a few new kind of channel directions we're looking at, and then we also have a TV show pilot that we filmed about a year ago that we're working on getting picked up. And so we're kind of filming this while we wait, actually, because we have producers that are shopping it around, and we don't like just sitting around and not making anything. So, we're making another movie in the meantime. But yeah, probably that should be somewhere on the horizon.
I'll take it.
Oh, sure.
We're currently in pre-production for the sequel to the movie that he wrote in art school. Yeah, and college. We had told our fans that we were interested in making the sequel for ourselves, and just we knew that there was a strong desire to see something, but we weren't sure we were going to actually commit to that. And we asked for double the amount that we had for the first movie. We had $4,000, which was incredibly generous, donated for the first one, and the response was a $30,000 of a donation just from our fans to make the second one. And so we are still in the process of trying to get the pilot picked up that we worked on a year ago. So we're kind of doing both of them at the same time, but we just had our audience responded with such kindness and generosity that we feel kind of guilty working on anything other than that right now. So that's currently our biggest project, and we're in the process of getting locations and costumes, doing all that really fun stuff. But we're also looking for Netflix. If you're out there, Netflix, Hulu, what everybody's looking for for our pilot. Somebody come take it, please.
I can tell you for a fact, because I just read this 2 days ago, Netflix just changed their rules again.
Oh, really?
Last year before, because of them getting into the European market,
Uh,
minimum 4K in cameras.
we
They,
got it.
they changed it again. 4K HDR. So you need an HDR camera, high definition resolution.
We
It-
have
it-
it. Right? It's an Alexa. It
Check.
can take it.
Yeah. It better be, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any advice for new filmmakers or YouTubers?
Yeah. I think the most important things that I eventually picked up were actually just kind of following up on the last interview is you really just have to make as much stuff as possible. It's everybody's gonna make bad stuff first, and it's not only okay, it's actually encouraged, and it's just part of the process. And you just kind of have to look at it as if you have a bunch of bad stuff queued up that you have to push out first before you can get to the good stuff. So you want to do that as fast as possible, so that you can move on to making the better projects. And a lot of that came from finally deciding like we're gonna do this every single week, no matter how good it actually comes out, because otherwise I would spend 2 months on one video before that, and they still wouldn't do very good, and looking back on them now, they weren't, so it didn't actually matter that I spent that long on them in the first place. But the repetition and just making something new every single week was a far more valuable education than I got in any experience before that, even at film school. Any amount of just sort of, trying to absorb information isn't going to do as much as just making as much stuff as you can.
I want to say something.
Sure.
So Kyle, when I asked him forever ago why he does this, he said, because I have all these thoughts in my head, and if I don't write them down, they will go nowhere. And it is a part of me that I have to make these things because it's all I do. I wake up and I go to sleep and I have these stories and these characters and these ideas, and if I don't tell somebody about them, then I don't feel like I've completed my job as a person. And so that means you don't wait till you have $1,200 to go buy a camera. You use your phone, and your videos sound like crap for 3 years because you couldn't afford a microphone, and you just do it, and you just start, and it's been 4 or 5 years later. Now he has an entire team of 12 people. We've got people who have full-on business degrees that can call and set up locations, and then we've got people like Joey who are here who knows literally everyone in Austin, by the way, and also San Antonio, and a few people in California. So we can call Joey, and Joey's already got somebody who's willing to help. So at this point, he just started off as someone who's like, I have ideas and they need to get made, and now he's got a team of people who are willing to just make that happen. So we've got, I'm the director of photography, we've got, Ian is also a co-writer. There's just a bunch of us now, and it's just because this dude had stories and we all wanted to hear them. So I think if you feel that way, you just do it. And then, there's maybe a year or maybe 4 or 5 projects and they suck. But that's people are gonna, when you don't suck anymore, people are gonna wanna go back and watch your sucky stuff, and they're gonna love it. It's just a part of it,
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big thing, so.
You keep on going back to San Antonio.
Yeah.
It's really just a nice place.
We can afford
There's nothing
it.
great about it. It's just nice.
Like the cost of living.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you're a DP?
Yeah.
Where'd you study? Did you go anywhere or just
I
independent?
I did photography for 12 years before I even met Kyle, and it was hobbyist stuff. I just really loved doing it, and he was like, have you ever tried it with a moving camera? And I was like, no, but I'll give it a shot, and I've gotten pretty good at it. I'm really excited about it now, and it's been very exciting. And I've learned a lot of important things because I also do photography in my own time, and it's taught me they both really help each other. You're learning one, you're learning the other. But yeah, it was kind of a coincidence. I didn't study anywhere. I've dropped out of college 2 years into it, but sorry about that. But yeah, it was just something that I already sort of liked, and he needed somebody, and I was like, Hell yeah. So, he went to the Art Institute here, and he says all the time, like, you can get your degree. Actually, you went to the Art Institute, didn't you? Did you finish at the Art Institute? No, you didn't. And he says all the time, he's like, I got my degree, and it was a lot of money, and I did learn some things, but the value is in the experience, and not in the how much. What do you think about the Art Institute? What do you think about the?
Oh, I just I with 3 years to do a 4-year degree. I was already working in the industry. I was working with Kyle and working with people from LA and all sorts of just connections. And I'll never forget. I had a 2-hour talk with my favorite professors. We sat there, we talked for a long time, and at the end of it, he was like, "You don't need this school. Like, it depends on the industry you're going into, what you're going to do with it. But it's a piece of paper. So how valuable that piece of paper is up to you. But the most important thing about college was meeting Kyle and meeting all these great people and making the connections, and we can get that without thousands of dollars worth of degrees. We can find ways to do that.
Oh, like going to the Action Fest every year, where you can meet very cool people that do similar things to what you do. Go to things like this, absolutely. Find events like this and find people here, because people that come to this kind of stuff are the ones that really want to do it. And we were just talking about all the different types of people that go to art school, just because we're like that. And there's a lot of value in it. I think the biggest value is just the people you will meet, because those are some of the coolest people. They share your dreams and your visions, and they want you to succeed. And like, they have events like this, which are just fantastic for being able to find like-minded people who like share your struggles too. And so meeting people is the most important thing, I think. So we all get a turn.
I went to a real school and got a real degree.
There you go.
It took too long. It cost too much, and I could be at some desk putting numbers into Excel sheets, but I'm here instead, which is way more fun. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about college.
As a former employee of Austin Community College, I understand. I have friends at ACC that were college professors at ACC and the Art Institute.
Yeah.
I've heard stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yes, you guys are the very reason why we're here. We couldn't get into, I know one specific person couldn't get into South by Southwest. It's not like he wasn't talented, but year after year this was happening. And instead of bitching about we can't get to South by Southwest, we made our own thing.
Awesome. That's
Yes,
what you do.
I mean, yeah, just do your own thing. I mean, yes, we're small, but we're huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we get we're International Film Festival. We get entries from everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah. When is your next project actually coming out?
It's hard to say, but we're
Exactly.
we're,
It depends
Monday.
on what you
We're
think.
planning for, I think, next summer. Is
Yeah.
roughly right. The plan was we're definitely not shooting by next summer because it gets hot,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to do that. So yeah, production is supposed to be done before the summer, and then by the end of the summer it should be coming out, I think, onto the channel for free.
By
So,
next summer, you mean 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah.
But we make weekly content.
Right. We also do stuff every week on the channel. Comes out on Mondays.
Much smaller projects.
What is your channel's name?
It's called Door Monsters. This is the logo. You can look it up, and if it has that picture on it, then you got the right one.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
We got-
Does he get to choose?
Oh, we get to pick?
Yo, she was
Or-
first.
Me.
I saw her
Yeah.
first.
So you have a team that's grown. What is your communication applications, and how do you use email, use Facebook, use Instagram? How do y'all as a team in a business, because you're a business, keep your communication and your scheduling as well? Let's throw that in there.
Well,
We have the dumbest Google Calendar in the world. In a good way. No. I mean that it's just got a lot of stuff on it. Like, it's great. I love this. Look at all of the different colors and things and release dates. We all have synced to the calendar.
Okay.
We are all on text messages. We're all in
In
Discord
Discord, yeah,
messages.
so
We have like 3 servers just based for Door Monster. We have the what was the schedule?
Let's be real.
Go
I
ahead.
have a very honest answer.
Okay.
Okay, so the number one form of communication between everyone is Discord.
Okay.
And that's because it's kind of like a Facebook group chat, except it's a whole server designed specifically to be able to communicate with as many people as possible. Yeah, it was originally for gamers and small communities.
Well, it's Skype, but it works better.
Right, and
Yes.
you also have video chat, so that's usually that's what we use, because you can tag people, have them notified. That's the best system we found for a group of 12.
Yeah.
And realistically, so we're split between San Antonio and Austin, which makes some communication really difficult. So we moved everyone in San Antonio to our soon-to-be commune, I guess. We bought a townhome, and we just moved all our friends as close as possible, because we'll just randomly decide to do something, some group thing, some group video, and if you're not close, you might miss communication for it. So it's why we try to get everybody. We want to get everyone together as much as possible, but realistically, there's a lot of spur-of-the-moment stuff, and it's just about. Sometimes we just have Joey go out and do, because he's in Austin. We'll have him go out and just do his own projects here because we can't be there. But we're all friends. Like, we're all really good friends, and so it's very easy to communicate with each other before, like, no one's avoiding business calls with us. It's not like, oh, it's Kyle calling, he wants me to do something, I'm gonna pick that up later. So that doesn't happen. But after we worked on our pilot and we all used Facebook Messenger, and I cannot say how horrible that was. Find a different way to talk to people. WhatsApp is okay, but Discord is truly like the best way to communicate with a large group of people. I'll never do Facebook again. That was a mistake.
Delete your Facebook.
Why? Why was it so bad?
Well,
Thread. Thread.
It gets really confusing, like in one big chat, and then if you need to add anybody to it, you gotta start a whole new chat over so they don't get any of the messages previously. And if you need to just talk to like 2 people out of the 7 people from the original group, you've got 4 little windows open, and it was just hard and rough. And then the links you can't send large files over Facebook as well as you can. Like Discord will send it in 2 seconds. I'm sure there's probably other good things designed specifically for like large groups of people talking, but Discord has been our absolute best.
Yeah, Discord's great. You can make your own little servers. You can have your own little chat groups talking about scripts. You know, we have a whole server that's just for like writing and throwing out ideas. In our community Discord server, we actually let the fans just suggest ideas. They can just throw out things. Hey, I want to see this, and that helps give us some ideas, or we can let them know. Oh, we were already thinking about doing something like that. Good idea.
Oh, so you can bring in the community within that space.
Yeah. So the way our Discord works is once you donate to our Patreon, you get access to the Discord. And that's where all the fans can hang out, they can chat, they can talk to us directly, they can hit us up, and it's really a great service to get more involved with the community. And there's a lot of already Discord communities out there that you can join now. I'm sure there's lots of Austin communities and things you can join, film communities, yeah. It's a nice little thing, yeah. Check it out.
Thank you.
advertise for Discord over here.
Sponsor us.
I was on sponsor.
It's cool.
Oh,
No.
Edwin, you had a question.
By the way, I missed that jab to him about him being far away.
We keep trying. You know what?
They want me to be closer. I know they'd like me to be in San Antonio.
We can't afford Austin.
We
So we're
can't
just
afford
trying
Austin
to
either.
just trying to move all over.
Just saying. Oh, you.
So what do y'all do, like making movies, like your real jobs, how people say it all the time?
I only do this full time, actually. Both of us do this, and you pretty much do it full time
Recently.
at this point.
Also gotten involved in writing for other YouTubers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did Uber in between just because y'all don't wake up till 11.
That's true. I will say, I didn't start that way. When I first started out, I had a job at KXAN actually as an editor, full time, and I could have gone home and just sort of, play games and stuff afterward, but I wanted the channel to work, so I spent every single ounce of my free time working on videos. We filmed every single weekend. I edited at work most of the time because there wasn't enough going on. So I brought a laptop and figured out how to remotely connect to my home computer and did a lot of VFX and writing stuff from my actual job. And just kind of, I knew where I wanted to be, so every opportunity I had to make a decision to move in that direction, I did. Until eventually the channel was, actually, it wasn't even making enough money when I decided to leave. You and I decided to try and do freelance stuff, and I just bailed on my old other job, hoping it would be enough, and then just miraculously the channel picked up the month after that with enough money for me to be able to keep doing that full time.
Explain what everybody else does.
How much of everybody else? Right.
Yeah, just people
Right, no,
in
sorry. We have a fairly large group. A lot of them mostly come in for acting, or they just with like individual pieces, so we can't pay them full time. But we have a couple of teachers that they teach high school Latin in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Jeffrey here works like just for the state. We have people. We have a few people in the crew that still have full-time jobs. We do have, my brother has started getting jobs within the film industry more than we do, actually. He's a prop fabricator and does like set deck stuff. So yeah, there's kind of a variety, but I personally have been doing it full time for, I'd say, about 3 or 4 years now. Yeah, Joey, what do you do?
Just because you're not an Austin, you're that discount?
I just do a lot of contract stuff in Austin, film, photography. I do streaming on our Twitch channel. I've never been one for having like one job. I gotta have like little pies all over the place. So I do a little bit of everything. I like it that way.
Okay, so we'll take one more question. Go ahead.
So there's a couple people here, and it's the action fest. There's a couple people already here that ask, oh, they want to do fight scenes. So it's the first thing that comes up, and I not only like you guys, but just people in general. They're like, oh, I can do that. I think I can, do a fight scene, or I want to do fight scenes. But y'all, off your other party, just did a full fight choreography thing.
Yeah.
And even the ones who weren't in it, you guys still went through the training to do it.
Oh yeah.
So what I want to know is did you think now that you did it once, were you like, it was just as easy as I thought it was gonna be, or is it like, this is a lot harder than it looked?
Try to please answer this.
I'll answer this.
Because, yeah.
Go for it.
We all have something to say about this.
Speak
Yeah.
your truth.
So it was way harder than I thought. We did have, thank God we were smart enough to go, we need people who know what the hell they're doing. Because your first thought is, maybe I could just learn to like tumble around on a mat and film it and it'll look okay. But we brought some of our friends to fight choreography, and Edwin and Ben spent like 2 weeks trying to teach one of our friends how to stand. Everyone's got one on set, I'm sure. But there were some stuff. Edwin blinked once and Joey decked Kyle in the face. He went to the bathroom or something, and then these two were at it. I mean, not really, it was an accident, but maybe.
It was an accident.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and that was just training. That was just everybody showing up and just trying to figure out how to do it. But then we got on set for Skyvault, and Ben, this literal saint of a man, is getting yelled at by 7 people whose job is not fight choreography about he's not doing it right and it's not the right time and he doesn't have the right props, and I can't imagine, just having to do that kind of job on set where you are responsible for people's safety, making something look good that no one's like doubling. No one is like doing fight choreography and costumes on set. If you're fight choreography, you are on top of it on set because you got a lot of stuff to do. And Kyle and I are over here we went through the training for about a week and we're like, thank God they're gonna train professional actors to do something. So it was so much harder. But yeah, let me let other people say
I was
something.
gonna do something because we have done fight stuff before we met them, and none of them went well.
How long did the Matrix actors train before they actually got on set? 6 months, a year?
Yeah, it was pretty close to from what
So,
I've heard, like a year,
7 days. I'm not thinking that you're gonna survive for too long. Not without poking an eye out.
Yeah, no, I would I think the biggest thing for me is it's just about practicing it enough beforehand. That's really what it is. It's just make sure you know what you're doing before you show up, and that I would say that takes care of about 90% of the problems. Is just making sure you've run it over and over and over and over again. We never did that. We on our first movie that we did, we tried doing one on our own, and it just was terrible looking. And every other one after that, somebody ended up getting punched in the face. So, yeah.
That's true.
Not the face. Anybody else want to answer more on that one?
Got it.
I took a class, a theater class in college, which had a 3-week segment of combat training or fight choreography training on theater. It was way harder than I thought. I spent 3 weeks going to it for an hour a day, 3 days a week, which is actually not a lot of time. All I can do is be choked. I can't choke other people. I can be choked and I can fall. So that's all I've learned. I've been choked in Door Monster movies in productions like 3 times.
This is why we
And
use
that's
guns.
it.
It's much easier.
Yeah, guns are much easier. I respect every fight choreographer in the world.
Absolutely.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Get choked.
Do you have more questions now?
Oh,
So you prefer to be capped in the ass?
Yes. Yes. 110%. So much easier.
Just making sure, man.
Yeah.
Just-
That's it.
now we
Okay.
gotta see what it looks like when you do try to punch.
I've thrown.
I'm gonna skip that one. Okay, so if there are any other questions, I'm going to let y'all go. I thank you for coming out. It's
Thanks.
I
It was fun.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Let me see it. Hear some noise. Everyone. Thank you. I hope you have fun.